Okay. Pull up the age AI advancements. Some of you guys said some pretty crazy answers here. So this is...
Go ahead.
Go
You
ahead,
think
pull it
you've
up.
reached your peak beauty?
Babe,
in your
you need to have
20?
more confidence
I
in
think
yourself.
that's so sad.
That's very
Hold
sad
on.
for
You
you.
think my whole nose is gonna change shape?
You have a
That's
lot.
so sad.
The
Like,
fuck?
there's so many things you can
You need to work on your self-esteem.
discover about yourself.
Guys.
I worked on it. I thought I was ugly for the longest time.
Same.
And I had
I have
to
ugly
work through a
duckling
lot of
syndrome.
that. That's what they called me when I was little. Growing up, my sister was like, you're the ugly duckling.
I had to grow into the beauty.
Yeah, me too.
All right, here.
And plastic surgery,
Funny.
but that helped.
Oh.
I mean...
And what are these ages?
This is what AI thinks.
But at what
I'm gonna
ages?
age. I don't know.
Well, that
AI
is
thinks
a
my whole
necessity
face
based on
is
his
gonna
questions.
change,
Okay.
Those are...
and AI isn't capable of actually understanding what the aging process fully is for humans. But I'm really
But is that
glad
10-year progression
you're trying to
in each
play a
photo?
gotcha moment with me once
I don't think
again.
it's a gotcha.
Oh.
Don't think it's a gotcha.
But I already said that I don't know what I'm gonna like. You don't know that that's what I'm gonna look like.
Well, of course,
If you showed yourself when you were 20 a picture of you now, would you believe yourself?
Let's do the AI on your 20-year-old picture now to see how...
Yeah, let's do that.
But this
Yeah,
is
they-
not
they
meant
do
to
it
be
all.
offensive. This is usually like the fun
fun.
part. It's not meant to hurt your feelings.
Triggered over the fun part of the show, but okay. Hold on one
I'm
second.
curious to see myself.
Just to me, it feels like you're trying to be like,
just trying
look
to
how
be
ugly you're gonna get when you're old. Even though I didn't.
Did I say that? Wait, did I say ugly?
I didn't
It seems
say.
like you're making.
I didn't say.
You're making the
I
claim.
didn't
You gotta
say.
stop interrupting.
I
You're
didn't
making
say
the
that.
claim. You said the word ugly, not me.
Okay.
Did I say the word ugly?
Did you
said the
hear
word
what I
ugly.
said?
Tell me what. Oh, repeat it then.
It's making me feel like you are
I don't care
putting
how
this
you
out there.
feel. Your feelings have no basis in reality, unless I've made
But
it.
you're asking what we think. We
Right.
can think but not feel. Like
We're
Bro,
women,
y'all
so
are
we can't
cooked.
feel.
Holy
We can't
shit.
think or feel.
Bro, I literally did not say
never
that you
had
guys
smart
were
women on the show.
it had nothing to do with
Well,
being
you started
ugly,
the
but I will
question
make-
with, do you
Well, the
think you're
opposite of
still going to
hotness
be
is
pretty, or
ugliness.
what
I'll
do you
make-
think am I going to
hold on.
look like when I'm older? And then you show me some weird degraded AI
How is it
picture
to-
of me when I'm like saggy and old,
Hold on.
as if that's fact.
So hold on. Well, first off, AI is not going to be a perfect representation. It's like making a prediction. It's probably not perfect.
I know.
It could even be really off, but it's to give you a potential representation of aging.
But you
Most of-
started the question by saying, do you think you're going to be more attractive? And you just
Right.
wanted us to say yes, so you could show
wanted
us a
us to say
picture of us old and
I would
decrepit.
have pulled this up no matter what. All of you went through the AI aging
Okay, well, let's
process.
keep going.
Yeah,
Let's
can we
see
just
it.
see
Yeah,
other people's?
that's what we're gonna do. But I just want to make it clear.
Yeah.
I'm willing to
Okay,
make.
let's move past chair one.
Yeah.
So what do you
Hold
want me
on.
to
Doesn't
say
like
about
it,
those
we can move on to the
pictures?
So,
next
well,
person.
what I'm prepared to say is that I do think as people age, they become less attractive. If you think that that's offensive, okay, I don't know what to tell you, but I am prepared to make that claim that yes, I think as people get older, they generally become less attractive
At
over
what
time.
age do you think beauty peaks?
I think there are some differentials between men and women, but I think typically, if you're asking me about women, I would say probably like you're looking at peaking at 25. And then I think there's like steady decline.
Okay. Thank you for your answer.
So do you think when you're like an 80-year-old man, hopefully married to an
Can you,
80-year-old...
you're way too far from the mic. Please.
So
speak into
do
the
you
mic.
think when you're an old man, maybe married to an old woman, you're not going to think your wife is attractive? You're going to be staring
didn't
at
say that.
25-year-olds? Well, you said that old people are ugly. And
I
that
didn't
beauty
make that
peaks
claim.
at 25.
You can keep putting words into my mouth. but I
That's
didn't
literally
make
what
any
you
of it.
just
That's-
said.
How would it literally be what I just said?
Because you said
How would
beauty
it
peaks
literally
at
be?
25
hold
and
on.
it gets
How
ugly
would
as
that
you
literally
age?
be what I just said if I literally didn't say it?
Because you literally said that age, like beauty peaks at age 25. So I'm
yeah, but that would
asking.
literally, it's not
And
literally.
you said you would still find your old wife attractive.
We're gonna
did not
see
say that, I'm
Ryan
asking.
And the AI too.
I'm just
They're
asking.
getting really
No,
butthurt
it's not
about
meant
it.
to
We're
hurt
never
your
gonna finish this
feelings.
My feelings aren't
conversation.
hurt. He said we're not allowed to feel.
That I didn't say you weren't allowed to feel. I said I don't
Care about
care
our
that she feels that I was about to say
think you should
something
care about
about
our
women
feelings.
being
I
ugly.
care about your
I
feelings.
didn't say that.
But
I
also,
thought you were
I
about to
mean,
say that. I
Nobody's in
just,
control of AI. That's just what AI thinks. You can
I
look way
just
better.
think the question
sure.
being phrased is, do we think we're going to be more or less attractive, followed by pictures of us as AI grandmas, is supposed to be a gotcha moment. And I don't like that.
Okay.
I mean,
thank
it's
you for your
reality.
contribution. Go ahead, pull up.
Is it
we're gonna pull up
reality
the
or is
rest.
it AI?
It is reality.
Or is
you
it
and I
AI?
Are at our peak age right now. After we have kids,
You're not your peak.
we're
peak is
going
coming.
to
Can't even legally drink.
Yeah.
we're going
Your peak
to
is coming.
Yeah,
age
what?
and get uglier. It's just the fact of life. Just cope for
That's
you.
your
We're all
opinion.
entitled to our opinions.
That's your opinion, and that's it.
I just want to
It's
see other
reality.
AI
This is
pictures.
and we're
That's your reality.
It might be, yeah, it might be your reality.
I think
I'm
Ryan
happy
is-
that you think you're going to get
Ryan.
uglier with age.
Here, let's get. I want to move the show along so we can hopefully get through this. Okay,
Oh, who's that? Oh.
Me.
that's
Baddie. Baddie. What's up? Let me take those dentures out. Look, look, look. Let's go. Sorry,
Can you
I'm not
Where did they
appropriate.
Can you
Got
not
this
do that,
picture.
please? Okay, so you said
I
you'd
look
be.
amazing. What do you mean?
Huh,
What?
that's funny. Okay, troll.
I look great. My hair, look, it's not even gray. Like my blonde is still blonding. It's like better blonde than the one I'm here. Like my hair is gonna get even nicer. Like
See, you're looking for her to be offended by
I'm
her
not-
picture.
I'm not looking-
You just
I'm
called her a
not.
troll because she said she thinks she still looks
I
good.
think it is a bit of a troll answer to be like, yeah, I'm like to give that answer to say, yeah, I'm so fucking hot when it's like, come on, let's be realistic here.
I see. I was right. So
How we're okay.
I drink a
whatever.
lot of water. I'm gonna
That's
stay
great. Love
hydrated.
it. Love that for you. Next.
I also love that. That's right.
Wow.
What do you think?
Where I will look.
You changed
I'll look.
ethnicities, but-
I know.
Became a white woman.
I know. I think I'll look way better than that
Yeah.
just
right.
by looking
Asian
at my
don't raise
parents' age. But it's okay. I'm not offended. That's just
Next.
AI.
I can't wait.
That's not even you in the beginning.
Yeah.
You look the same.
Wow. They did a lot of favors for you
What the fuck?
Yeah.
in that first photo, bro.
What?
So you,
Wow.
What do you mean? It's
it's what?
they know it's true.
laughing
They know
because,
that.
like-
Hey, do you got a hickey, Marin? Is that a hickey?
I don't know what you're talking
What the fuck, Marin?
Oh my god.
Sorry, I have a boyfriend.
So your own photo that was taken of
She's
me
got
while
a
I've been
hickey.
sitting at this table, you're saying got favors?
Sorry, you want one.
I'm just saying they do a little. There was a tune-up job.
What?
It's fake.
They face tuned the first photo.
And
is all
only
I'm saying.
mine, not anybody else's.
No.
I think they do the other ones, but I don't. Stop face tuning the original photos. Whoever's doing it.
I could do a better AI job.
I'm not very photogenic.
All right, next.
It's a state of mind.
So done with this rage.
Oh my god.
Rage rate is crazy.
She's also not photogenic.
Wow.
Well, I think. Okay, whatever. Next.
Accurate.
That was not good.
No, they do face tune the original photo.
Yeah, what's the
Fine.
forehead?
All right, let's see Felicity here. Do Oh, what the fuck? God damn.
So dirty.
Yikes. All right, go ahead. Do me.
But they totally changed your whole face.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
Use the photo from now. What are you
You,
talking about?
you look like King Charles in the last
Yikes.
Wow.
God damn.
Like
Those
pull
eyes-
up her picture again. They totally changed like her entire facial anatomy.
Bro, look, it's AI.
they
It's
just
not gonna
got
be like
ugly,
hyper realistic, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, you could do like you
I'm not
could fine
offended.
tune it,
It's AI.
but it's just like a super quick thing that people in the Discord do. Is there another one of me? Okay, now we're getting into gender.
Are you gonna make us?
Can you double
men?
check?
I look like my brother.
Kind of fire. I kind of wait to see.
All right, keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it to see.
Dark eyes. I don't know how.
Oh boy. Okay, Roy Zorin, thank you for the gifted 5 subs. Appreciate it. We have Pasty George here. Thank you.
Pasty George donated $200. Chair 1, the face and body sag as you age. You can say whatever you want or even claim gotcha. However, in reality, no woman can ever beat the
In reality,
wall.
I'm not attracted
P.S.
to
You were so
children
butthurt
who
over an
don't
AI
age.
picture, LMFAO.
Women age, and if you like women, you
I'm
should
not
work. You
butthurt
should
over
like
the AI
a
picture.
progression of a
I'm
woman's
butthurt
body.
over.
Period.
Oh God.
And yes, women
We
sag, and
have
so do men.
Hector. Whenever chair one
Men's
is
balls
asked.
sag. They're up to here, don't they? I'm just saying.
Holy fuck, dude. Okay, whenever chair one is asked a question, she creates a hypothetical to deflect from answering honestly. Otherwise, she's stumped as it contradicts or falsifies her worldview. She sidesteps the point galore. Andrew Wilson would make her cry by holding her feet to the fire.
Andrew Wilson probably would make me cry. I'm not even gonna lie. He's like a master at rage bait. I'd probably get really upset by him. And creating a hypothetical to deflect from answering honestly, I'd love for you to like pull up lots of evidence of that. But also, I believe that all my answers have been accurate to what I believe. So hate me if you want, but I'll never know you in real life, and I don't care.
That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, we need to get to. Let's see here.
Shot of life.
Okay, I wanted to come back to our conversation. Our conversation at the beginning of the show was all over the place. You were talking about Charlie Kirk, and then you compared him to Andrew Tate, and then
I just said they're in the same category in my mind.
and you said that Charlie Kirk would be like, you're fearful of women in his circle or something like that. I don't know what that claim was about. I wanted to explore this. You said you're a misandrist. Can you explain again what that is?
I just believe that if women were in power, there'd be a lot less issues going on in the world. If every country in the entire world was ruled by women, I truthfully, wholeheartedly believe that we would have so many less issues. And even though I may not be able to be proven right or wrong, that is my belief. Everyone's entitled to their own beliefs.
Sure.
And I'm not saying I hate men. I'm just saying that I believe that women are smarter than men in certain ways. But
Question for
maybe
you.
you can try to prove me wrong. But again, I believe that a lot of the educational system has been set up by the patriarchy. So it's not fair for you to say that men's IQs are currently higher than women's or whatever fact
Here,
you're going to throw at me.
One thing at a time. You shotgun.
I'm answering one question.
I know, but you're shotgunning a lot of points here. I'd like to take them one by one, if that's okay.
Well, they all are grouped together in my mind.
Let me really quickly just explore. Again, you said the patriarchy as it relates to the education system. We already went over it. I quite clearly demonstrated that there are more women going to college and getting degrees than there are men. This would completely contradict and debunk your point that the patriarchy is made. Like, if there was a patriarchy, wouldn't it be the case that they'd be trying to favor men into higher education?
Have you read history books? That happened all throughout a lot of time.
For the past 4 decades, women have predominated in the university
The 4
system.
decades of hundreds of thousands of years that this earth has been
I'm talking
here.
about right now. So here, let me.
But you can't talk about right now with
I
ignoring
can't talk.
history.
Watch.
While ignoring
For the
history.
Sake, for the sake of conversation, I have some disputes as it relates to your historical points, but I'm just going to grant, for the sake of argument, that you're 100% right. Historically, yes, women had all these bars to entry into education system. Now that I've granted your argument on that, let's talk about modernity. In modernity, for the past 45 years, women have been disproportionately represented in higher education. Now let's talk about that. How could it be evidence current day that the patriarchy has any sort of foothold in anything if it is the case that, like, if the patriarchy wanted to maintain power and the patriarchy, wouldn't you want to exclude women from higher education? Because you would agree that higher education gives people more opportunity, and it would try to push the majority of men into having opportunity as it relates to higher education.
Yeah.
But that's clearly not the case. There's more women in higher education. It defeats your point entirely.
Which is what? What point does that defeat? That
The point
women,
you just,
I think women
you said
are smarter,
the
or what?
patriarchy and women are barred from higher
Just because you
education.
go to college doesn't mean you're smart.
I agree with you.
I'm just saying that I believe that if the world had turned out differently and women were in power, we would be a lot better off.
Okay, question for you on
That's what I mean when I say misandry.
Question for you on that. If I were to say, just to be clear, this is not my position necessarily, but if I were to say the following, would you think it would be sexist? I think that the world is better because men do have more power in it.
Yes, I think that's sexist.
So how is your position not sexist if you were to say,
It is.
I think the world would be better if women were in charge?
It is.
Oh, okay, so you're sexist.
She said she's
Misogyny is the opposite of misandry. Feminism is in the middle.
Okay, so you
Right?
hate misandry. Yeah.
Misogyny isn't I hate all women. It's I believe that men are better than women and deserve more power. Feminism is I think everyone should be equal, and misandry is I think women deserve more power. I believe that women would do better in positions of power than men, and that is my belief system.
Okay, but you would also, wouldn't you fight against men making the positive claim that men are, if men are in positions of power, that they actually think that the world would be a better place if more men are in positions of power?
Yeah, what about it?
Well, you would object to that statement, right?
Yeah, but they'd object to mine.
But shouldn't you object to your own sexist rhetoric?
No.
So it's okay, just to be clear, you're against sexism, sort of. But only if men are sexist towards women, not if women are sexist towards men?
You know, I truthfully also believe that if women were in power, sexism would not really be as big of a thing. Everyone's lives would just be better off. And that's my own belief. I don't believe that if women were in power, I don't believe that women would create a system that is unfair towards men. I believe that things would be a lot more equal. I just think that women would be better off in power.
I'm trying to explore the logic. So you would be, I assume, very ideologically opposed to a man saying that they think that society is better or would be better if men, well, let's say men are currently fully in power. You would object to this sort of statement.
Yeah, well, men already think that all the time.
I'm not sure if that's actually the case because that's sort of a male supremacy view, but I think a lot of people believe in sort of a more complementarian perspective as it relates to gender roles. But I'm just curious. So you think, just to be clear, you think society would be better if women were in charge?
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
I do.
But so then you can't then object, I suppose. You might disagree,
I might disagree, but I don't object. They can say whatever they want to say. They can believe whatever they want to believe.
So you're fine with...
But I'll fight them on it. And they can fight me on my view. I'm fine with that.
I mean, there is some logical consistency there. If you're saying you would disagree, but you'd actually be okay with men saying, yeah, we should continue the patriarchy because I think the patriarchy is better for the world.
Men are allowed to think that, yeah.
And are men also allowed to think, for example, the world would be a worse place if women had predominated in roles of power?
Yeah, people are allowed to think whatever they want to think.
Okay, but you would probably categorize it as sexist, right?
Sure.
But you're sexist too?
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. But sexism is bad?
Sexism on a grand scale where women have been like shut down and oppressed in multiple ways is a bad thing. And I believe that if women were in power, they would not be oppressive towards men. It would just be different. And again, you can never prove me right or wrong because we'd have to completely uproot the world and change the way things are.
Bro,
that's just what I
that.
believe.
Mary, hide it. Sorry, go ahead.
Hide what?
Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
I was done with my sentence.
Can you just repeat the last 10 seconds? I got distracted there.
I believe that if women were in charge, they would not be oppressive towards men. It would be different. However, you can't prove me right or wrong. And so it's just a belief. Just like a lot of things are just beliefs. I'm fine with people arguing with me. I'm fine with people disagreeing with me. That's just my belief system.
Okay, so sexism bad, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so why are you
Sexism
engaging in something that's bad?
Because sexism on a grand scale where like if we denied men the right to do jobs or to make money or to do different things, that would be bad. However, I believe that if women were in power, men would not be oppressed in any way. Things would be a lot more equal and women would just do better in positions of mass power. That is my belief. There's no way to prove me right or wrong. So you're just going to have to take it as my word. And that's just what I believe. I'm okay with people disagreeing with me. I'm okay with men thinking that it's different. There's lots of men who think that only men can be in power. And, a woman's just going to bomb someone when they're on their period, which is complete BS. But that is a big thing that a lot of men think. I'm allowed to think what I want to think. It's just a belief and there's no science behind it. I mean, there's a little bit of science behind it, but I'd have to really do like a deep thesis paper on this if I wanted to like really try to prove myself.
My confusion here is, if it is your position that sexism is bad and we should move away from sexism, how are you going to reconcile your own admitted sexism?
Because I don't believe if women were in power, they would actually oppress the male gender. It wouldn't be a sexism thing. It's just me saying I think women would be better in power. The way that men are in power, they oppress women in multiple ways. I believe that if women were in power, they would not oppress men. People would be equal, but women would be more in power.
How are women oppressed?
I don't want to get into this rage bait with you right now.
How would that be rage bait? It's literally, you literally just said...
listed so many ways that women are oppressed.
Okay, what ways are women oppressed?
Sexually, men have more sexual power. If you get essayed and you go to a judge, it's way more likely that a man's going to be let off the hook than a woman.
Wait,
men have
more... Hold on. One at a time, please. One at a time. You're saying that when it comes to prosecutions and somebody being found guilty, you're saying women are more likely to be found guilty of crimes than men are.
No, I didn't say that.
That's what you just said.
I said that men are likely to get off the hook for sexual aggression.
How so?
As compared to...
Like right now, Trump's trying to like say that Diddy shouldn't be in jail.
Did he actually make that claim?
He tweeted that.
Trump sent a tweet about Diddy.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of the tweet. Maybe I don't know.
I'm just saying, in general, there's so many stories of women trying to come out about their essay stories and getting shut down because, what were they wearing and different things about men. There is oppression there, and even if it's not the U.S., there's mass oppression in, oh my gosh, so many places in the world. We're very lucky in the U.S. I know that. I am not very oppressed as a woman in the U.S., but there are so many places, and we're forgetting that there's so many places where like women aren't even like allowed to sing or speak or go in public without a man. So
everything is
in the Middle East.
Come on, like that's terrible.
Yeah, that's true. That depends on countries.
Yeah, it depends on the country. And in the U.S., we're very lucky to not have to deal with such strong oppression. However, there's still aspects of oppression that we deal with.
If one woman is hurting, we're all hurting. If
I have a
women
question.
in different countries, we're all women. We're all here together. We're all hurting.
I have a question for you. So you said that in like countries like Scandinavian countries where females are in places of power, do you think that women are still oppressed in countries like that?
Definitely not as much. I mean, I'm sure there's still some male aggression towards females, but I know, like, in the U.S., maternity leave is very, like, subjective. However, in places like Scandinavia, I know that they get, like, paid
Even
maternity leave. Men
too.
get time off so that they
Both
can
of them.
spend time with the family. Their hospital, like, they get cared for. They have nurses that care for them and give them, like, spa treatments because they know that birth is hard. I mean, that's just a small example. But, other people are not afforded that because...
Here, how are women oppressed?
Okay.
I'm asking, how are
We've
women
been
oppressed?
talking about it.
How are women... Okay, here, let's start with something simpler then. First, can you just give me a definition of oppression?
Like not getting the same basic rights as other people.
Okay, sure. So what rights do men have that women don't?
Control over their bodies.
Well, that's not true.
Women can't have abortions anymore.
Women have the right to get abortions.
Not everywhere. You know that woman in Georgia who's like on life support even though she's completely brain dead and the family wants her to be killed, like be taken away because she's completely brain dead, but the hospital will not let them take her off of life support because she is pregnant, and so they're using her body as like basically like an incubator until the baby is birthed.
I can engage with you on the abortion thing, but is there anything besides abortion you can point to as it relates to a right that a man has that women do not?
In the law, no. In society, you can see it trickling in just different ways.
But if we're talking about rights, typically we are talking about
in the
some
law,
sort of...
I would say abortion's the biggest
Is there
example.
Anything else though? Just abortion.
Not that comes to mind, but that's just laws, not like systematic and social oppression.
Okay, so It's okay. You don't need to check on it. It's fine. So on the abortion argument, I don't think that this is actually evidence of an inequality that exists between men and women, because what we're doing is doing a comparison between men and women. What rights do men have that women don't? Men don't have abortion rights. So you would have to agree with me.
But men were able
Hold
to
on.
make abortion rights even though it's not their body.
You're moving away from the actual argument.
That is the argument.
Let me make the argument. So you're saying that women don't have any abortion rights.
I didn't say
Well,
that.
excuse me. You're saying in some states women don't have abortion rights.
They can be
'Cause
oppressed.
you would agree that in other states women do have abortion
Yeah, in
rights.
California we have
Yeah.
abortion rights.
So in those states you would say that there is no difference of rights between men and women.
In the law, but socially, there is oppression, just in different ways.
But as it relates to abortion, you would agree that men can't force women to get abortions, right?
Well, by law, I guess technically yes. By law, technically yes, they can in some states. Men created the rule that they are not allowed to get abortions. And so that is a man telling a woman she's not allowed to get an abortion.
But men can't force a woman to get an abortion, right?
No, because it's illegal now, even if they want
No, but a man,
he doesn't want
let's
the
say the
kid.
woman wants to keep the kid and the man doesn't want to have a kid. He can't force the woman to get an abortion.
It depends.
There's no
Legally,
state-
no, he can't, but physically, he probably could.
There's ways.
Sure, there could be an abusive guy who's like drags her physically to the abortion clinic and is like, I'm going to kill you if you don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, that could happen, but that has nothing to do with like, there is no right that would grant a man like an ability to force a woman to get an abortion.
No.
Okay, so wouldn't you have to you'd have to agree with me on this, that it would actually create a certain level of equality that exists between men and women. In order for there to be equality as it relates to reproductive rights, you would just have to outright ban abortion entirely.
No.
Yes.
No.
Let me explain it to you. Men have no reproductive rights. So equality would have to dictate that in order for there to actually be equality between men and women, you would have to walk back women's abortion rights for there to be equality.
But men have the right to impregnate a dozen women at a time, and then
God,
you're
that's
saying
not
those
an
women don't
argument.
have.
That's not an argument, but okay, go ahead and make it.
How is that not an argument? As in, if a guy gets me pregnant and I don't want to have his, or you're saying I want to have his child, he doesn't want me to have the child, right? That's the scenario.
It's not even, no, that's not the scenario.
He's just saying that in order for abortion rights to be equal, men should also get a say.
How about
No.
men take birth control?
He's saying that.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying, one, no, I don't think that should be the case. But two, men cannot force women to have abortions. I'm not
But they
advocating.
can pull financial support. They can leave the relationship. They can do a
Yes,
number.
men and women are allowed to leave
So people have
relationships.
cohabitated,
Oh my
and
God,
then
I'm
the
losing my
man
mind
gets the
here.
woman pregnant, but says, "I don't want you to have the baby. If you don't get an abortion, you got to get the fuck out of the house." How is it her fault that she got pregnant?
Because she
That
had sex with
literally
him.
logically doesn't even follow.
They were in a relationship living together.
You're talking about something completely different. The point I'm trying to make here is you're making the argument that women are oppressed and that women do not
not
have
making that argument.
equal rights to men in the United States, to which you cite abortion laws or reproductive rights. Since men have no reproductive rights, I would say that in order for there to be equal rights to men in the USA between men and women, the only means by which you can arrive at equal rights between men and women would be to walk back abortion rights for women. I'm not saying that should be the case. What I'm saying is that would be how it would have to be for there to actually be equality between men and women.
If men were like seahorses and they could also carry children, I would agree with you.
But they can't.
So I don't agree with you.
But okay,
Just think about it logically.
Yeah.
I don't-
No.
I am, honey. If
You're not. You're
If-
putting your feelings in
if-
front of your argument.
If I have to carry a baby for 9 months and then rip open my vagina to give birth to it, and a man doesn't even have to be there if he doesn't want to, I think I should decide if I want to go through
but that's
But
not
you
the
also-
argument I'm making.
You're making the argument that if
doesn't
we
make sense.
wanted to be 100% equal, but what equal is not always fair.
so you do agree that's
Men
not
can't
equal
have
then?
babies. So what? This
Yeah,
argument
like
is
women can't impregnate themselves.
Okay, here's the context of the conversation. The context is, it's what rights do men have that women don't? So within that context, men don't have reproductive rights. So the fact that in some states women don't have access to abortion, I don't think that you could say that that should be something women can have. They should have access to abortions, but it's not evidence of men having some sort of advantage or privilege or benefit or right that women don't. The question is, what right do men have that women don't? As you guys are correct, only women can get pregnant, but this has nothing to do with a comparison of women's rights to men's rights. Men don't have any rights as it relates to their reproduction. So your claim that, well, abortion rights, if I were to go ahead, yeah, sure, okay, women don't have abortion rights. What does that have to do with equal rights between men and women?
You and I just disagree on that. And I don't think we're ever going to see eye to eye on abortion rights, which a lot of people aren't going to see eye to eye on abortion rights.
But I'm not having an abortion debate with you. I'm having a debate with you on men's and women's rights.
But you thinking that women don't have the right to get an abortion by themselves?
Hold on. I didn't make that. I didn't even make that argument. For all you know, I could be pro-choice.
Okay, but you saying that it wouldn't be equal, I think we agree differently on that.
Agree differently. Okay. We
disagree.
I could be pro-choice and make the same argument I just made.
And I disagree with that argument. So.
But what is? I'm a little confused here. So, what specifically do you disagree with the argument about?
I disagree that in order for abortion rights to be equal for men and women, abortion should be banned because men should get an equal say or something.
Okay. To clarify, I'm not speaking should. I'm speaking...
I know, hypothetically, whatever.
I'm speaking descriptively. So descriptively, it is the case that because men don't have these... I'm not saying that men should be able to, like, get an abortion on behalf... Like, that's not what I'm advocating for.
Okay.
I'm advocating for I'm actually making a counter to your claim that men have rights that women don't.
Okay.
You would have to establish that men have abortion rights to make the claim that in the states where women don't have abortion rights, men have abortion rights. If men don't have abortion rights, which they don't in any state, then how could it ever be the case that women not having abortion rights in a state is evidence of men having rights that women don't possess?
I'm just saying that means oppression to me. And to a lot of women, not having the ability to choose if they want an abortion or not is oppression. And if you don't think that, that's your opinion. My opinion is that it is oppressive to not let a woman make decisions about her own body. Even if a man impregnated her and that is his child, sure. I still think the woman has the right to make the decision if she wants an abortion or not.
Yeah, and so actually, in response to something you said before, you mentioned how I think you said something along the lines of men don't have bodily autonomy.
When did I say that?
I think you said something along those lines.
Well, bodily autonomy, everyone has bodily autonomy. I don't know what you mean by that.
Well, you said, didn't you? Can somebody rewind the tape? You didn't say something about like men don't have any loss of bodily autonomy or anything like that?
Oh, the right to their bodily autonomy?
I think can you repeat how you framed it?
Like men don't have a law that like dictates a part of their body the way that women do. Yes. Where women could be forced to not have an abortion, whereas there is no law that says like men aren't allowed to do certain things.
Right. How about circumcision?
Or like, how about a law that says when they turn 13, they all have to get a vasectomy because then they can't get someone pregnant and they can get it reversed whenever they want. That would be an issue because it hurts their right to their own bodily autonomy. However, that's not a law. The only laws that affect bodily autonomy happen towards women. That's what I was saying.
Can you think of any law that, can you think of any law that relates to the bodily autonomy of men?
The only thing I can think of...
Or the taking away of it?
The only thing I can think of would be the draft. But I already said that I don't think that should be a thing.
But it is a thing.
But I already said I don't think it should be, just like I don't think women should be forced to not get abortions.
Right.
So, like, I don't know where you're trying to get at me with that, but
Yeah, well, originally you were making the claim that there's nothing, at least as it relates to law, that takes away men's bodily autonomy. And you mentioned one. I give you, I guess, some credit there for at least saying that forced military conscription would take away men's bodily autonomy.
But like I said, I don't think that should be a thing.
But it is a thing.
But
It doesn't matter what you think. It's reality, and that's what it is.